Hey everyone, welcome back. It is time for another wrestling review. Today we are going back to a company we have not reviewed in a while. This seemed like a good card, so we decided to review it. It's the halfway point of Stardom's 5-star Grand Prix tournament, and they had some pretty good matches on this card. The tournament ends later on in the month, I believe, and this seemed like a good card, so we decided to review it. Any thoughts on Stardom before? Because I know it's been a while since we've dived into the world of Stardom.
I wanted to get back. I'm glad we came back.
Yeah. And I think there's a Noah show coming up too that looks like it's a pretty strong card post N1. Congratulations, though, to what's his name there? Go Shiozaki won the N1. He defeated Keno in the
No
finals.
way.
Yes, he did. He defeated Keno in the finals. He actually he was in a playoff against our boy Soya Boy there from that same faction there. And yeah, it turns he won. I mean, it was a pretty decent showing. It was not on the level of a G1, but it was a half decent tournament. Let's get that out of the way. I don't know if you watched it, but I watched the whole thing. I gave the whole tournament a 7. So
I didn't watch any of it.
So there you go. So at least now you don't have to. I gave the whole thing a 7.
I'll probably watch the finals.
Yeah, it's worth it. Keno versus Shiozaki was good. Okay, let's get right into it. The one match that was not on my feed, which I did not get to watch, was Amy Saure against and Mizunomi and Tekla against Queen's Quest, Lady C, Azumi, and Amasaki.
Also did not get to see that.
Okay. The others go over. Saure, Tekla, and Miyazumi went over. This is the one I did see though. Megan Bain and Maika against Rose Gold, which is Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May. And as soon as I started watching this match, my first thought is like, oh my God, these girls are so much younger, but yet they're so much more in tune with what they have to do in the ring.
Yeah. Mariah May got a lot better since the last time we saw her. And I had heard a lot of things about what's the big girl, the Amazon?
Megan Bain.
Megan Bain. I had been hearing a lot of good things about her, so it was good to finally get to see her actually wrestle.
Yeah. So this was a pre-show match. So it was a pretty decent pre-show match too.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good. Like, I mean, it wasn't a big crowd because I think this place is a very small venue, but the crowd was super into it. Like they were behind them. So, and they were totally behind Micah in this one. Like it was clear
Yeah,
that
she's very popular.
Yeah. So Megan Bain and Micah end up going over in the pre-show match. Then we are going into a tournament match. It was Haya Shishida against Momo Watanabe. And I always love watching Momo Watanabe. She is such a talent in the ring. And this was a really good tournament match. Like these were the best tournament matches, I think, on the card right now because they're getting close to the end.
Yeah, Haya Shishida's really good. Like, we didn't get to see her in the beginning, really, because she was injured.
Yeah,
we saw her. I think the last 2 things we watched had her.
Yeah, and she was also kind of hidden in battle royals or multiple tag matches. This is the first time I think we've got to see her in a solo match.
Yeah,
and she delivered.
Yep.
She completely delivered. She even gets the upset win over Watanabe.
I mean, I don't. In my opinion, I wouldn't consider it an upset. I think she's a little bit better.
Okay.
Maybe popularity wise, I don't know.
Yeah. Fair enough. But I mean, it was a really good opening match. It's exactly what you want in your opening match. You want, these are two young stars in the ring that are acting like two veterans. Like just what they were doing. Watanabe's fairly young, right? And and the way they were hitting each other too, it looked like it was vicious. Like
they went at it.
They went at it. So we are going into our next match, which is another Grand Prix tournament match, which was another really good matchup. Like these tournament matches for me seem like dream matches because we had Tam Nakano against the Starlight Kid.
So
she's still IWGP champ, I believe.
Here's for me, like when we were talking about like how we were gonna rate this.
Mm-hmm.
So like every match was like exactly the kind of match you would want on when they like, and the matchups were amazing, right? Like dream matches, literally. But they were so fast. Like all of these tournament matches were done in like 5 minutes.
That's one thing I noticed as well.
So like as good as they were, I didn't have like any like thing to hang on. Like I had no emotional weight in the matches because they just came in, fought over.
Yeah, it was a very these I noticed that too. Like these, except the next match. The next match did tend to go a little longer, and the main event went a little longer. But Nakano and Starlight Kid, like I said, like you did say though, the fact that they didn't go long enough, all these matches were under 10 minutes, so it really didn't give it like as soon as you start getting into the match, the matches were done.
Yeah, they felt like TV matches, not quality wise, but the way that they were paced out.
Yeah, how quick they were. But yeah, with that, we're going into our next match. We're moving right along here. It's going to be a quick review. Seems like this is another on paper Mayu Iwatani against Shuri.
Yeah, that's like what else can you ask for? You got two bangers back to back.
Three, if you really
yeah,
think
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
Hayashishita and Watanabe.
Actually, the next match is another good one too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it there was quality in ring work here. Shuri is an absolute beast.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I find odd. Okay, so Shuri was so dominant last year. She did PWI ranked her number one. She lost the title to Julia.
Yes.
And then she's still like absolutely dominant, but somehow doesn't have a title. Like she just literally beat the champion.
Yeah, she did.
Well, the IWGP champion, but still.
But point is, she beat the champion. But yeah. Well, no, Starlight Kid's not the.
We're talking
Mayu Iwatani, yeah. Iwatani, we're on the Iwatani match. But yeah, you're right though. She did beat. Could this be setting up an Shuri run for the IWGP? Because Iwatani really in the last few tournaments too, she's been in tag teams. She hasn't really defended that belt since beating Julia.
Yeah, you.
Oh, did I lose
correct.
You?
Wait, no, she didn't beat Julia.
No, she didn't. She beat what's her name? She beat Monet.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Am I glitching or something?
Yeah, you're kind of glitching a little bit, cutting in and out. But that's all right. We'll get through this. But you're right though. These did not the speed they went, how fast these matches were. They did not, like you said, this felt like a TV special as opposed to a full-on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But this was still a great match. Like I said though, Shuri, I don't know. In terms of Japanese women, I might have to give the number one rank to Julia this year.
Well, for the year that she had, yes.
Yeah. Because she's defended belts. She's won 2 different titles this year. She's right. She's won the Stardom Championship and she's won the New Japan Strong Championship. Like
and they had the trios, didn't they?
They still have them, I believe.
Okay, there you go.
So I think if anything, she's definitely a consideration for number one.
For sure.
Yeah. But with that, we're halfway done this tournament now, and we get into Kashima versus Momo Kogo for the high speed championship match. We've been seeing a lot of Momo lately on AEW, on Ring of Honor. So our exposure to her is a little bit more, so we know what we're expecting from here. But Kashima, we haven't seen a lot of, and I didn't even know she won the high speed championship.
Yeah, I only know her because they released the card for her in the New Japan game.
Okay.
But yeah, she's really popular.
Okay. But yeah, and this was a really great match, but it was a weird match because it went way too fast.
Yeah, I mean, high speed.
But still, under 5 minutes, though?
No, you're right.
High speed.
It was odd.
Yeah, high speed, I'm thinking more in-ring work, like fast movement, kind of like a cruiserweight type of thing, right? But I wasn't expecting a 5-minute match. So, like I said, this is a 5-minute match, and Kashima retains against Momo Kogo. Every time Momo Kogo seems like she goes after a belt, she's always there to take the loss.
Yeah, it sucks.
It does. She needs some gold around her. With that, we are going into our match for the Goddess of Stardom Championship, which is the tag team championships that they have. It's restart of Natsupoi and Anui against Suzu Suzuki and Mia Sarah.
This I don't know. This was a good match, but it was kind of weird. It felt weird.
Yeah, the Natsupoi and Ano seem their they seem to clash a little bit. Their styles is what I'm like, not like when it was Nakano and Natsupoi when they were I forgot what they were called, but they had the
Yeah, I know what you're talking
yeah,
about. Yeah,
Meltier.
yeah, there you go. It's I don't know. It didn't flow well, I don't think this match. Like the
Yeah,
in-ring work wasn't bad, it just didn't flow.
yeah. The four, I don't Sarah and Suzuki aren't really a tag team either. So, you know, you're right. It didn't feel it felt like just a tag that was put together just for the sake of having the match on the card. Um So with that, our co-main event, which is the Wonder of Stardom Championship, which is their main title, it's Mirai against Konami. These are stablemates
Mhm.
in the match, and Mirai won the championship a little while back. I don't think we reviewed that show where she won it because she beat who did she beat for that tournament?
No idea.
Nakano. We watched a match where Nakano became championship at Flashing Champions, and then Mirai beat her at the Midsummer Championship earlier last month in August.
For the Stardom title?
Yeah. So
Oh,
Nakano's no longer, yeah, you didn't even know Nakano was no longer champion. Yeah.
no idea.
I've been kind of keeping up, but it's hard to watch. Like they're not hard to watch in a bad way, but hard to find a good place to watch them.
Yeah, and they have a lot of shows.
They do. Like they have all
So,
those new blood shows. They have all
yeah.
those. So there are a lot of shows to go through. But this was a half decent match. Konami put on a really good show. Like
Yeah, this was a good match. I like this one.
yeah, like we've had I think they're both part of God's Eye, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've had like a whole bunch of really, really good matches in a row. And then which we forgot to also mention in the last match that after the restart one that retained the titles, we had Azumi and Hayashishida come out and challenge for the belts.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So that's going to be an interesting match. I don't know when that's going to take place. Probably at the 5-star Grand Prix finals.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So this tournament that's happening right now with Stardom is akin to their. So it's the G1, then there's the N1, which is Noah's, and this is the 5-star Grand Prix, which is the same type of tournament as they do in New Japan and Noah. But Mirai puts on a good show. Konami put on a good show. These were two women I was not 102% too familiar with, so I wasn't sure what to expect. But I was pleasantly surprised and entertained by this match.
Yeah, I agree. You said it well. I
Yeah.
can't say it better.
So with that, we are going into our main event of the night, which is Julia defending the New Japan Strong Women's Championship against Riza Sarah. Let's spend some
I
time
didn't
on
even know
this
who
one.
that was.
Riza Sarah, we've seen a few times. She's always been hidden in, like I said, same thing, tag teams, battle royals, she's always on the pre-show. But what I find funny here is the fact that the New Japan Strong belt is actually getting top billing over the Stardom belt.
But I think it's because Julia's a way bigger star.
True. And she put on one hell of a show in this match.
It was a really good match. It was paced well. It told a good story in the ring. There was a lot of good spots. The table spot was fucking crazy.
Yes.
I don't know. I've never seen anybody do that. Like
Yeah,
behind the back. You just landed on top of her with all your weight through a table.
through a table, yeah. That was pretty crazy. But like you said, I found at some points though, Risa Sarah was kind of sandbagging Julia a little bit.
Maybe, yeah.
When I think she may like when she was like trying to go for a suplex or something, she kind of like putting her weight down so she wouldn't be able to lift. I don't know if that was done intentionally or if that was part of the story to make it look like, you know what I mean? But that's the only nitpick I'll have on that match. But other than that, Julia's defense and her string of matches since beating Willow Nightingale for the New Japan Strong Championship have been great. Like she's been on a great tear.
She's a really good wrestler, man.
And you mentioned to me also the other day when you texted me something about Jericho should get on the phone with Julia.
Yeah, he needs to give her the Will Ospreay call because she's too reckless, man.
Yeah. She is. She's gonna, and she's not old either. She's still fairly young. Like she's what, early 20s or late 20s, early 30s. Like she's like 30, right?
I think she's like 28.
Yeah, something like that. So if she keeps on this path, she's gonna hurt herself pretty bad. But other than that, it was a good match. It was a good little show. We'll keep this one short and sweet. We got another review
She's
coming
29.
out. She's 29. There you go. Campo on the speed dial. But I mean, other than that, like this is a fun little show. It was nice to get back into Stardom. It, like I said at the beginning of the show, it was weird to see like women who can actually go and actually wrestle. Like, don't get me wrong, because like some of the women's matches on the Emergence show, Victory Road, which we'll review later in the week, the women's matches were fairly decent there too. You had Deonna Purrazzo against Jordan Grace, but there's something different about the way the Stardom women wrestle.
They go all out. They don't hold back at all.
Yeah. So all in over, what would you rate this show?
I don't know. What would you rate it?
What would I rate it? I gave this because I wasn't sure what to expect. I kind of gave this one a what did I give it? 7.2. I gave this one.
Yeah, I'd give it a 7. I think it was a good show. There was good quality all the way across. It just felt rushed.
Yeah, it felt like there was something missing from it. It felt like, right? I don't know if that's the proper, but it just felt like there was something.
7's a good score, so come on.
Yeah, 7's a really good score. So I hope you enjoyed this quick little Stardom review. Tune in later in the week. I'm not sure which day we'll post it, but we're gonna have our Victory Road review, and then we're also going to be doing a review on the 1000th episode of Impact. I don't know if we'll drop that for you this week or next week, but stay tuned for that. And we're going to probably throw a state in there for you somewhere in there as well. So make sure. And then we got a few other shows coming up. I think there's No Mercy coming up, and Impact's new show. Can we talk? Let's talk about that before we go off the air. Impact has a new pay-per-view called Wrestle Dream, and you sent me earlier today, they've already announced a match for it, which is that match we were expecting at Forbidden Door last year.
AEW. You said Impact.
Oh, sorry, AEW. I got Impact on the brain. I just finished watching episode 1000. But yeah, we're getting our Bryan Danielson against Zack Sabre Jr. match finally.
Yeah. So I'm hoping there's going to be a couple other bangers there. Hopefully we're going to get Okada versus Takeshita.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love to see that. But yeah, with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. Like I said, tune in later in the week for our Impact Victory Road review. And we're also coming out with the Impact episode 1000 review and a state, all within the next little while for you guys. So with that out of the way, thanks again for joining us. And in the words of Kenny Omega, goodbye and good night.